Hello and welcome to How Rich Does It. And today I would like to go over some information that will hopefully shed some light on questions that we may all have, or at some point we've had a conversation with someone and maybe some of these points came up. So as a disclaimer for myself, this video is based upon my personal opinions and my own personal research and is by no way in the following information a sure way of contracting the coronavirus or avoiding contracting the coronavirus. Okay, so with that said, let's just jump right in to all this information that I have. It's quite a bit, so I will be looking down and reading this, okay? So some of the ways that the coronavirus is being spread and some things you can and can't get from it, and how long it can live on surfaces. So much is happening right now with the coronavirus, and it is likely you're hearing updates throughout the coming days. Sometimes what you heard in the morning is going to be different in the afternoon, or by the next day, some of this information has changed. All of these studies are just being done on the fly, so information does change, but this is what I have currently as of today. It might also help to put your mind at ease that in some cases that they are mild, and the majority of people who contract the coronavirus do fully recover. Also that for the majority of people with COVID-19, it produces cold and flu-like symptoms and you can bounce back from it just fine. For those in the at-risk groups like the immunocompromised, people with chronic conditions like diabetes, heart and lung diseases, the elderly, those people may require hospitalization, and it can be deadly. But it can be deadly to everyone, but yes, those people are definitely at a higher risk. So because of this virus here, we are continually learning how to get around and how it gets to more and more people. We have a pretty good idea of how this is and how it's spread. And this is Michael Lin, PhD, Associate Professor in the Division of Infectious Disease at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago. Whew. It spreads via droplets, and it's contracted that way. He also explains, in other words, being coughed on by a sick person or touching a surface contaminated with the virus. Still, there's a lot of misconception about how the virus is spread, and people are Googling all sorts of questions. I saw all sorts of craziness. It was kind of funny, but it is still, it's sad and scary. So let's go over some of the things, the questions that I've seen out there on the internet, some of the questions I hear family members or friends asking one another. And this is just a few of them. Can you get coronavirus from direct contact? Yes, 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 yes. Through body secretions like nasal, mucus, and saliva. And this is Dr. Lin. So if someone coughs and sneezes in their hand, which is a very common habit, and then touches your hand or touches their nose or the mouth or the eyes, they can transmit the virus to you. So they touch you and then you touch your mouth or your eyes, and definitely you can contract it that way. The same goes for viruses that cause the common cold and flu, by the way. The same thing can happen if they sneeze or cough around you. The CDC is telling folks to practice social distancing, which means staying 6 feet away from other people. But I have my own theory on that as well, especially because if you sneeze, how these droplets can linger in the air. So even if I'm 6 feet behind you, or 30 seconds or a minute behind you in another aisle or God knows where, and I didn't even hear you sneeze or see you sneeze, and I can just walk right into that. So it helps, but it definitely is not a cure for all. It is not always possible, of course, but ideally we definitely want to stay 6 feet away from those who are visibly ill, coughing, sneezing, displaying a runny nose, etc. Also, now is the time to avoid handshaking or kissing someone on the cheek. Let's just give them a nod, a quick wave, and that's just what we have to do right now. What about touching stuff? How long does the coronavirus live on surfaces? Well, I've heard a few different studies, and they're all pretty much on the same timeline, so I felt pretty confident as far as sharing this with you guys. It is thought that the coronavirus can live on surfaces, but the answer is still not totally clear. There are mixed reports of what types of surfaces it can live on. Examples: stainless steel, plastics, glass, and as well for how long on each type of surface. The World Health Organization estimates that it can live on some surfaces anywhere from a few hours to several days, but the reality is that it's still an evolving science. So basically saying they're really not sure. Dr. Lin from the CDC states that it may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching surfaces or objects, but it is not thought to be the main way the virus is spread. Still, you want to be extra cautious about handling common touched items like railings, elevator buttons, door handles, just doors, grocery carts. I see a lot of grocery stores that they have a designated person standing where the carts are kept, and they're wiping all the carts as they're storing them on for the next customer. But with that said, I'd say 2/3 of them are not. I even went to a grocery store a few days ago where they just had a cart out there. Maybe there was someone and they were on break that was assigned to that position. But heck, there must have been 10, 15 people that walked through there during that time. And I saw people picking up the spray bottles and, spraying it on a towel, and then they were wiping the handles on the cart. Well, how about the spray bottle? Once again, wear gloves. Let's see here. According to the CDC, they're kind of back and forth on a lot of different items that possibly can have it on them. So it's just every day, this information changes. So we have to just be smart, wear your gloves, wear your masks, long sleeves, just keep your skin from being exposed. And realistically, don't go out if you don't have to. So that's something that we want to keep in mind. Can you get coronavirus from fabrics, carpets, and so forth? It is unclear at this point whether the coronavirus can live on soft materials like fabric, clothing, towels, and carpet, and for how long, if that is the case. Again, you can't totally avoid fabrics, so the best way to protect yourself is to frequently wear gloves, wash your hands, and avoid touching your face. Can you get coronavirus from dogs and cats or other pets? This is something that is dear to my heart as well as my family's, because we have 4 dogs. So currently it doesn't look like as if any of the pets out there can pass the virus to humans, according to an organization. I'm sorry I didn't get more information on what organization put that study and that information out. I had a full plate today, and I just didn't get to it, so I'm being honest with you guys. But if you would like to look up that information and maybe, in the comments section, let me know what information you found so we can all share it amongst ourselves and with, everyone else from there. The new coronavirus is primarily spread through human to human coughing and sneezing. Still, there have been some rare cases of pet testing positive for the virus. Another study that I didn't completely look into. I apologize again. But experts believe that it is unlikely it would spread back to a human from a pet. So, this is another big one here, especially now because we all find ourselves in a situation where we're still not cooking at home. And what I say to that is start cooking at home. So if we're still ordering food, this is going to be some of the information that we want. Okay. How to safely order food, delivery, takeouts, and other groceries during the coronavirus quarantines. Keep yourself and your food or grocery delivery drivers healthy and germ-free with some of these following tips. If you're staying at home more often as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, you may be wondering, can I still order food and have groceries delivered, and is it safe? And the answer for now is yes. Food and grocery delivery services you can do, and for the most part, we're being told they are safe if you use some of the precautions that I'll be going over in just a few minutes. There's currently no evidence that COVID-19 can be transmitted through food or food packaging, according to the CDC and the FDA. Though germs are known to live on surfaces for up to 9 days, that means you also don't have to worry too much about a sick chef transmitting the coronavirus to you via your food. And that is particularly true for cooked foods. If you ordered something cold like a salad and the chef sneezed on it, then you may be at risk. The bigger potential problem is transmitting the coronavirus from delivery person to customer or vice versa through coughing, vaporized air particles, or direct contact. In response, many food services are moving to contactless drop-offs or encouraging customers to take advantage of drop-off instructions to minimize the chance of spreading the virus. Drop-off options go non-contact and have deliveries left at the door. Grocery delivery services have launched a leave it at my door delivery option across the US, and Uber Eats has also waived delivery fees in the United States and Canada during the pandemic. I personally have never used a food delivery service or grocery delivery service. If you have used it, leave me a comment. Let me know, one, what are the fees and what was your experience like? And you feel that you would be using it even more in the near future. That would be great information, at least for myself. So if you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and share this, more importantly, with other people. That would be wonderful. We're just trying to all be informed here during these difficult times. And the more information that we could get to our loved ones, friends, anybody, let's just share this information so we can all be safe and avoid getting the coronavirus. So, leave delivery instructions. It's going to be a couple of different tips here with that. Whether you order takeout or groceries online, you'll see an empty field titled Delivery Instructions. Normally, you might use this to provide a gate code, but now you can ask the drivers to drop off your food at the door or send a photo of where you would like the delivery to be left. Customers can often also contact the driver directly through the app to make delivery arrangements as soon as the driver accepts the order. So, to play it safe, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and avoid touching your face after bringing food or grocery deliveries inside. But like I always say, wear gloves. Bring them inside with your gloves on. Put them in your own plate or your own containers. Get all the containers in the bag that they came in. Throw it into a garbage bag or a recyclable bag. Put your gloves in there. Immediately take it outside. Throw it in your garbage can outside. That's something that I would suggest. Restaurants and other food services are highly regulated by health officials and have had protocols in place for years to avoid spreading like viruses and hepatitis A, and also now, of course, the coronavirus. There's no evidence that COVID-19 being transmitted through food. And this is from Leanna Wing, an emergency physician and public health professor at George Washington University, as well as the former Baltimore Health Commissioner. And this is something she told CNET. However, the virus can live on instruments that people touch, including takeout containers and utensils. Therefore, people should wash our hands after we touch these items and before we eat or touch our faces. But once again, like I said, the protocol with the gloves, you'll be all right. I would hope. There are no rules in terms of how to remove food from takeout containers, but you'd probably be safest if you would put it in your own plate or your own container, kind of something I just went over. And throwing out the takeout containers and washing your hands before eating. Likewise, the coronavirus can also survive on surfaces or objects, so it is important to keep those clean. Recycle the bags that your food comes in and disinfect your table and counters before and after you eat. You should also follow normal food safety procedures from the CDC, like refrigerating leftovers within 2 hours. Is also best not to share utensils or a cup with fellow diners. And let's not forget to tip our delivery people. This is a difficult time for everyone, and food delivery drivers are typically paid by the job or on gig platforms like DoorDash, or by the hour if they happen to work for a restaurant. And most don't have a work from home option if they want to be able to earn money for themselves and their family. So, let's be generous to those that are out there helping make life safer and convenient for us. Let's see here. Let's move right along. If you tip with cash, let's make sure you wash your hands after you touch your bills. But the safest way to tip a driver is through the food delivery app. But once again, let's have on our gloves if we're going to be handing money to someone. I'm sure they would feel safer to see us wearing gloves when we hand them a tip. I would really be hesitant to accept food if I saw someone walking up that didn't have on gloves, did not have on a mask, because they could be sick. They could have sneezed or coughed on the containers as they were packaging it into the bags, usually like a warming bag or something. So once again, be cautious about that. We haven't done any takeout food here in our home. We've just been preparing our own meals, and we've saved a lot of money. And I'm sure if you would just take a step back and realize how much money you spend on a weekly basis for takeout or dine-in, you'd really saving a lot of cash right now. So, what affects and how long the coronavirus stays active? What will affect the coronavirus? Sunlight. Yes, nature's greatest disinfectant, because the ultraviolet light inactivates bacteria and viruses. So yes, the less porous a surface, the more virus you can get on your hands when you touch it. So let's keep the gloves on, long sleeves. The least amount of skin exposed, the better off we are when we're having to leave our homes. Let's see here. Let's continue on. Which services are the most infectious? Most of the times it's going to be the things that are touched the most, like bathroom faucet handles, doorknobs, elevator buttons, handrails, and touch screens on your phones, tablets, ATMs, especially if you're out shopping and you're going to use your ATM card, you're going to have to hit that keypad. And I'm pretty sure that most places did not disinfect that when the person in front of you used it. Also, if you're using credit cards, I'm sure you have to use that PIN to sign your name. We're not sure when that PIN was disinfected. So just keeping your gloves on and you'll be a lot safer that way. Man, there's just a lot of ways that we can really get this. A lot of ways. So I'll tell you one of the things that I'd like to share with you guys that I've been practicing for a very long time. And that is when I would go to a restaurant. One of the things that has the most germs on it is going to be the menu that you're ordering your food from and the containers that hold the condiments. You know, your salt and pepper shakers and little baskets that have the sugars or the jellies in them, or, you know, the hot sauce or the ketchup. Next time you're out, once we get over this, and pay attention to when you are sitting there and you watch someone go wipe that table. You'll see them, they'll wipe off the table, maybe even the chairs, and then they'll just grab the condiments and then they'll just place them back where they were. They don't wipe them first. Another thing, when we get there, they bring us menus. We pick it up, we order off of it, we hand it back, and what do? They go sit it in a basket. They're not wiped. Who knows when the last time they've been wiped? I try to avoid that by having some type of hand sanitizer or hand wipes immediately after I touch these items. Maybe you guys should too if you're not already doing that. But leave me a comment. Let me know if that's a practice that you've already put in place before all of this, or if that was just something that you hadn't even thought of. So that would be great if you left a comment for that. I want to thank Ace for this question here, and it is, can you catch the coronavirus from handling cash? Yes. The Federal Reserve is delaying processing dollars that have been repatriated from Asia. The Louvre Museum in Paris isn't accepting cash from visitors. And Iran has urged its citizens to stop using banknotes over fear the coronavirus can be transmitted to humans through contaminated objects like cash. Public health experts believe the coronavirus, which causes the potentially deadly COVID-19 disease, is transmittable through surfaces including paper money, especially that has been handled by an infected person. Let's kind of a bell that keeps ringing. Cash, cash, cash. The belief is that the virus can stay on surfaces in their fully active states for at least 10 days. That's something that's also including cash. The Fed on Friday confirmed to CBS Money Watch that since February 21st, it has been setting aside shipments of cash from Asia for a period of 7 to 10 days before processing and recirculating the deposits. It says it is doing so out of an abundance of caution and on the guidance from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, a spokesperson said. They also said that the Fed has a contingency reserve of cash should it be needed, their spokesperson also added. So if the Feds are setting aside money for a week before they even count it, that's telling me something. Some doctors say better be safe than sorry. Droplets can live on surfaces including subway seats and dollar bills. It seems like it could be a path for transmission because it's something that people commonly share and handle, says Dr. Jeffrey Sherman, professor at Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health. As a result, some public health experts are recommending that the public avoid handling cash entirely and instead paying for goods and services with credit cards or contactless modes of payment when possible. Credit cards are personal, debit cards, so no one touches them in many retail transactions other than the owner. But even though, like I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we're using our own personal cards, we're still using the PIN, we're still using the keypad on those machines. So let's keep our gloves on. I hope this information is helpful, that some of these tips are helpful. Please give me feedback on some information about what you're doing that we can share with others. That would be wonderful. We're all having to unlearn life habits, which is, we're used to shaking hands and, patting people on the back or being in a close proximity with others. And right now we're having to really think about, our next move. One thing that I realized within myself in going out and about is how many things that I actually am touching, looking at, maybe picking something up. I was really into reading labels at the grocery store, comparing different like items, and now I don't do that. And I realized that during this time, you almost want to know what you're going to go get it, get back home. That's a practice that we should all be doing. And again, I want to thank everyone that watches my videos.